Thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother. Greetings to the people of Ambazonia and welcome to our Amba history. Our history is up and doing. And today, the 25th of October 2022, we are bringing you echoes of our history. And I want to inform all of you who are out there that will have a special guest, not really special as such, but one of our living legends who experienced and now is recounting and telling history to the Ambazonians. So invite your friends, send the link to many people, tell them to come in because we are soon going to be cruising at a very high speed with a low frequency, getting ready to land in our Tico International Airport through Bisongabang airstrip, which is now National Airport. All right, from there, I say 21 gun salute to all the Ambazonian restoration forces that are standing strong and getting ready to pick up and defend the homeland as usual. Greetings to Mr. President, who has been so resilient and standing strong and making sure that the Dr. Endele Jongu Foncha Gumjua administration is completely put in place and run by those that are supposed to run. Now we have a piece of history that we need to talk to you. And our guest today, of course, you know him. He did not actually study history, but he is going to give us a bit of what happened between the lawyers, the French lawyers, and the lawyer of Ambazonia in a lawsuit that took place some years ago. All right, it is my pleasure to welcome our usual guest on this very program, Mr. Jotanga. Mr. Jotanga, welcome into the studios of the ABC Federal Republic of Ambazonia television station, broadcasting right where you are, but in Boya. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for receiving me today. I intend to tell a very short story about a tussle that took place between now late Dr. lawyer Ednon Chong and the French legal practitioners in La République du Cameroon just shortly after independence. By then, to start with some kind of background, there was only one Cameroonian, French-speaking Cameroonian lawyer in the whole of La République du Cameroon. Actually, there were two of them who were trained in France, but only one returned at independence. One returned to Cameroon, and the other one stayed in France. So, the legal practice in Cameroon, in La République du Cameroon then, was mostly done by French people, French citizens, not French-speaking people, but French citizens. So, when Dr. Ednanchon got into the scene, he wanted to set up an office in Yaoundé and practice. The French lawyers were not happy at all. They did everything to prevent him from practicing in East Cameroon. They took the matter to court, and after several hearings, the verdict came out, and the judgment was that the French lawyers lost. They lost the case. So, which meant that lawyer Enochong was free to practice as a Cameroonian. He was free to practice law all over the territory of the Federation of Cameroon. So, uh, as I said, all the practices in East Cameroon were run by French citizens, not Cameroonians, French citizens. And apparently, the constitution didn't allow the constitution or some legal instrument didn't allow foreigners to practice law in Cameroon. So lawyer Enanchon picked on that and sued the French lawyers, took the matter back to court, challenged them, and said, well, you don't have a right to practice law in this country because you are not citizens of this country. So just pack your things and stop practicing law in another people's country. So the matter went to court and went probably up to the High Court. And again, lawyer Enanchon won the case. Oh, and there was an uproar. There was an uproar in French Cameroon. They didn't know what to do. The courts were not going to function any longer without lawyers, because all the lawyers, as I said, all but one of the lawyers practicing in East Cameroon were French citizens. So if they were no more allowed to practice, as the judgment handed down had just said, then they will not be able to, the courts will not be able to function anymore. And lawyer Nanchong was happy to go about practicing law in all over where he wanted to go in Cameroon. Yeah. Dr. Nanchong, let me come back to him. Studied law in the United States and then returned to Cameroon, and he was the first, and I think probably the only one who wrote a book on the Cameroon constitutional law. He was the only one, and very early then, in the 60s. Yeah. So he was a very prominent lawyer, and he remained prominent until he died. Uh, and he had a lot of business in Douala. At some point, he was going to open his own bank. He was going to open a bank, and they kept on dragging. The government kept on dragging their feet, and so on. Anyway, so he won not just the case to practice in the whole of Cameroon territory, but also the other case to prevent French citizens from practicing in Cameroon. He won those two cases, and the French ambassador had to go and see Amadou Ahijo and to impress upon him the need to allow French citizens,
French lawyers.
French lawyers to practice in Cameroon.
Wow.
Uh, uh, so Ahijo had to sign a decree, some kind of waiver from that law. Ahijo has to sign a waiver to allow French lawyers to practice in Cameroon. That's how French lawyers came to continue practicing in Cameroon. And they did more than just practice. They did more than just practicing. They wrote all our constitution, all the constitutional revisions that were that were done since even the 1961 Constitution. It was written by the French, legal practices. They were the ones who who wrote that Constitution, which the French High Commissioner to Cameroon called that said that it was a false federal constitution. It was a deceitful federal constitution. It was the French who wrote it. It was not Cameroonians. It wasn't done by Cameroonians because Cameroonians didn't have
Lawyers,
legal
legal.
experts, yeah, to do
Wow.
that. So so uh, so that was the history. That is what happened at that time, and the rest of
Yeah.
it is history now.
A quick question for you, sir. Now, you said this was in the 60s.
Yes.
At that time, was British Southern Cameroons together with La République du Cameroon?
It was shortly after we became one country with them. It was after 1961. It
Okay.
was after
Now,
that.
but when the
It was
lawyer,
not before.
okay, I'm talking
Mhm.
about the lawyer making a protest for French lawyers practicing in Cameroon. At that time, have we been amalgamated? That is, try to join us together with La République du Cameroon when Eno, the lawyer, was talking all that he was talking?
Yes, by then
Okay,
we already had the so-called reunification in October 1961. So it was
okay,
after that, and
oh,
by then, by the way all this was happening, we already had what was called West Cameroon Bar Association.
by association, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
which
now,
which
now,
means
go
yes,
ahead.
which means we already had lawyers, Cameroonians practicing law. The Munas and the others were already there. The Fondinka, he was already a lawyer. There was another lawyer, a by or I think that he himself or his
Yeah,
wife.
lawyer, by,
Both of
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but both of them were lawyers. So we already had an association
Lawyers,
of English-speaking lawyers who formed
lawyers,
an
right?
association called West Cameroon Bar Association. But in the French side, there was no bar association because there was only one Cameroonian trained lawyer. The rest were French
Wow,
people. Yes.
wow. So it means that this bar association is a copyright that these francophones stole from the Ambazonians and then took it
Of course,
over to their side.
as
Wow,
usual, that's what happened. Yes, we had they didn't have any bar association. They didn't have because as I said, the practice of law in East Cameroon was done
the French.
mostly by French citizens, not Cameroonians.
Wow,
So yeah, so that was it. And even if they were a barrow, it was run by the French. It was not run by Cameroonians because French Cameroonians didn't have the qualified lawyers to run such a thing. Yeah, so they copied it from us.
so Ambazonians, please listen and listen well. Please don't listen through your eyes and don't listen through your nostrils. Listen with your ears. This is an elderly statesman telling us that everything we had ever stood and fought for as Ambazonians, even in time immemorial, these frogs will come in and fight and take over. Remember, the University of Yaoundé was money given by the United States to build a university in Bambili. Please, sir, can you tell us a little story about that? And then these frogs stole it and took it over to Yaoundé. If you have an idea of that
I,
story.
I would suggest that we leave that for a future
discussion.
discussion. Yes,
All right. Okay. All right.
because we
Yeah.
mhm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because we don't have very much time today. We need some bit of
Okay. All right.
preparation
Yeah.
and some
Yes. You
research
actually
in
said
order to
that
carry
there
that
was not
out.
much time
Mhm,
for you today, and
mhm,
I agree with you. At any time you want to go out, please just indicate, and then we'll tell you to say your last words to our people, because this is
mhm.
very, very provocative. We have seen that what you have just said is what has been happening from time immemorial, because everything we fight for, they will steal it and change the appellation and try, and when they don't know how to run it, they corrupt it. Anyway, thank
Okay.
you very much for this indication that the first lawyer that we had who was working in La Republique du Cameroon as well as in Southern Cameroons was a lawyer from the Southern Cameroons. And they formed the association, the Bar Association of West Cameroon, of which those frogs eventually stole. Now, Ambassador, listen, the fight we are fighting is to restore all these stolen and almost lost institutions and initiatives by Amazonians. I'll hand over to you, sir, to possibly say your last words, and then we'll call it quit today with you. But we look forward to having you here to talk about the other institutions that you have said we should keep it for another session. I agree with you. Thank you, sir. The microphone is yours.
Oh, okay. Well, I will be very brief here. This is just a snippet of some of the things we know and will be discussing in future. Uh, I will leave it at that, and I hope to see you again in the near future. Have a blessed week. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, sir. And we are looking forward to seeing you in another week. And we want to crave your indulgence to have more time to talk to us in the near future. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our historian. I told you his profile before. He actually did not study and politics. He is a different person in the category, and we need such people in Ambazonia. When the time shall come, we shall bring him in back here again. But for now, I'm sure you can now begin to think over and really grind yourself to find out how that the brain boxes of Ambazonia from the 60s up till today are the ones that are bringing in every innovation and bringing in every initiative, and these thieves will take it over. Somebody wrote me a bitter note and said, please, your program is good, but you are insulting people. No, we are not insulting people. You know, when we tell people that they are all very intelligent and very wise, we'll be lying. But when somebody is a thief, call that person a thief so that people can run away from that thief. Because if you pamper him and pass a hand on his neck, everybody will believe that he's a nice man. And before you realize, he will deal with you. And I told you that our Amba history is tied to the history of the um, the old history book that I have been reading for a very long time. I have been reading this history, and this history has actually proven to me that we, the Amazonian people, are a people with a very big difference in the sense that our difference is known, heard, and seen. It means that we are people of action. And so we have heard many of the initiatives. That's why when La Republique came up with war against the people of Ambazonia, some of the Ambazonians who are very, very smart, and of course, I told you that some of them are scammers, Now they are very smart, and they have discovered that La Republique is very foolish. And you don't want me to tell you that La Republique is foolish? That's why they are scamming them. Every day they say, we are going to hand over the land to you. We will take your special status. They will pump money. Oh, don't worry, we are going to crush them. They will pump money. And then some of the La Republique fellows have discovered the trick, how stupid their government is, and now they will go and kidnap people that are of value and try and pretend to put it on Ambazonians. And then La Republique will send in money, and they will use the money for themselves because they have discovered that these people are dull. My dear friends, when you see some certain kidnappings, although we know that their proxy, who has been calling the name of Ambazonia, has been doing it, we have now discovered that they have entered into a pact with some certain Bulu Betty Fang criminals who are in uniform, and they are scout boys. They now go kidnapping and pretend to talk like they are Ambazonians, but they don't know that the Ambazonians know themselves, and that you cannot play that gimmicks and those games on Ambazonians. No, you cannot play that game. So the priest and the sisters that were kidnapped, it's very evident that La Republique did it. The analysis that we got from the kind of letter they write, they were writing in the Bunda French that we used to talk. Moi parler, tu parler. And when they were trying to translate it, they went to translate it also in that literal translation. And it betrayed them very seriously. See, Mr. La Republique, whoever is in charge, we have told you that God's finger is in this matter. And whatever you are doing, you are wasting time. And we, the Ambazonians, we don't want to deceive you. That's why we are telling you and giving you a way out. You cannot imagine an enemy giving secrets to its enemy on how to escape. We are telling you that as long as your hand is in Ambazonia, that is how you'll be going down and down and down until when you sink, it will be a replica of Pharaoh and his soldiers drowning in the Red Sea. Because this is history that is repeating itself in another continent, no, in the same African continent, but with different actors. And the same God who has not changed is the same. So, my dear friends, our history is very, very clear. Now, if you look at a little bit of what has been happening these days, the president of the Federal Republic of Amazonia, the Reverend Dr. Samuel Ekome Sako, I want to properly put those names so that you sink deep into your ears. The achievements that this government, interim government, has achieved under his leadership is something that humans cannot actually measure. Only him who has empowered him can measure it. But the rest of the people, they are beating about the bush. Because I told you a few days ago of the ambushes, the coup that have been planned against him, the arsenals that have been sent, the lies that have been sent. I just heard I read in the social media one unfortunate I don't know whether he's an Ambazonia, saying that La Republique does not target the president because he's working with them. What an unfortunate statement. And that nobody has ever died in his family because of this fight. And that La Republique has never targeted them. How stupid and dull and uninformed some people are. That La Republique goes behind Chris Anu and the rest of the people does not mean that he is really in for the battle. That's not how to compare it, sir. If that was how things were to be compared, I'm telling you that it would have been rampage in Ambazonia. So what we are saying is that this interim government has taken a vow with God Almighty to take us to Boya. And anything that will stand on the way. Why is it that a number of people have united just because they want to fight against Sako? And when they unite today to fight against Sako, tomorrow their center cannot hold. They subdivide again. And then they go in the different ways. Ambazonians, I want you to know that our history is unique. La Republique, when they discover the seniority and the working hand in gloves with the entire Ambazonian clan, let me call it a clan, but a Ambazonian nation called British Southern Cameroons, former British Southern Cameroons, they discover that the only thing they can do is to come in with the devil's method, divide and rule. They came in and divided us. They will lift up this man's and then tomorrow bring out this man trying to knock our heads together. Unfortunately, it did not work and it's not working. And so we are here to tell you that time has come that we have learned the tricks of La Republique, and we know exactly what to do with them. Ambazonians, the president a few days ago recalled to every Ambazonian that the United Nations, through Resolution 1349, Article 13, gave independence to La Republique du Cameroon. And the same United Nations, through Resolution 1608, Article 15, gave independence to Ambazonia. Now, let me tell you, independence can never be cancelled. Independence can never be revoked. What they did and what they have been doing, they only hid it from us. But today, we are digging deep into the archives and discovering who we are. And a few days ago, our president made an announcement telling the Ambazonians, we are the 55th nation of Africa. We are the 55th nation of Ambazonia. And we want Ambazonians to recognize themselves and begin to sing it. Begin to sing it. So, Ambazonians, going from now hence, please write on anything you can write, put it on your forehead, and sing it to people that Ambazonia is the 55th nation of Africa. That should be your language from now, because you have been recognized. You need to recognize yourself. That is our history. Now, our president is going ahead and has announced that the days ahead are going to be very daring. And as a historian, I'm warning La Republique to quickly pack out, or before they realize to pack out, the end has come. We had refused, like some of our people had said, uh, concerning what is happening now and in Ambazonia. I don't know what name to call them, whether they were prophets or they were just being used by God, or what happened and what happened. I want to let you know that all that they said is what is happening. One of them said in one of their sub-national televisions, a time is going to come that La Republique will be begging for federation and they will not have it. Another one said, when Ambazonians' eye will be open and they rise up, nobody shall be able to quench them. Bring all the arsenals of the world. Another one said, let's see tomorrow, Monday, if we, the Ambazonians, control Ambazonia or you control Ambazonia. And all these prophecies are coming to pass. In fact, one of them said, anybody, even the highest in the government of Ambazonia, will rise up against this God-ordained struggle to go back to Boya. That person will be thrown under the bus. And he, the very person who opened his mouth and said it, was thrown under the bus. Not when he went to prison, but when he went there and tried to go against what he had pronounced, and he himself was thrown under the bus. See, please, we come here to remind you and we come here to warn you that whatever you do, be very careful, because God could be using you and you do not know, because he is sovereign. He even says he can use stones. And we saw an example of an ass, a donkey that he used. Don't be that individual that he will use you and drop you as a donkey. No, don't be that individual. So, Ambazonians, we are marching forward and we are pushing forward. This interim government has taken a milestone, and the achievements that we have achieved is just but indicating as La Republic is going down and down and down and down. And some of you who have decided to join La Republic and join those who have joined La Republic, and you're talking things that you don't know, we are advising you, get back to your LGA, get back to your county, contribute your quarter in that place. Come back to the house and let's go to Boya together. Don't you see that every scheme has failed? Are you not seeing that the hand of God is against all that are against what this interim government that God has sent to take us to Boya is doing? Have you seen the way they are falling? Those who are still patching. Well, I want to announce to you that there is somebody that's going to soon going to announce your demise, and that person is Mr. Time. So Mr. Time is very soon. He's coming, and when it dawns on you, you will know that Kakino be leather. Ladies and gentlemen, people of Ambazonia, particularly, we are very, very excited to let you know that Ambazonia is reigning. That's why I've been bringing to you He Reigns. Thank you very much. Looking forward to meeting you tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll have a special guest in the house, and he is going to talk to us. And the person of Mr. who talked to us the other day, he's coming to the house tomorrow on Amba history, and you must not miss that episode. It's going to be pregnant. He reigns. He reigns. Short live this battle. Long live the people of Amazonia. God bless you.
Even though